Good afternoon, my beautiful nerd nation. Tsusasi here, and welcome to the second episode of What Are You Playing Now? Because last time I had a second camera set up and I was running secondary audio and video on that, and thank God that I was, or dog or glob or whatever, because it did in fact end up being the safety, because the capture failed, the audio capture failed on this capture stuff that I'm running now. Now we just did a test, so I gotta tell you, if I talk for an hour here, and it didn't capture again, I'm gonna be a little bit pissed. But it did on the test, so we're just going to assume everything's right, because that's what we do, right? We assume.
Always assume. That's just a rule that I've come to accept in life. Just always assume.
Yeah, always. It's a good policy. Just
the last 3 videos I've filmed, I realized 10 minutes in that I wasn't recording. So
wait, you do videos too?
I do.
Oh, hey!
Yeah.
It's Sean from the Major Losars. Welcome, my friend.
Whoa!
What?
How did you know that I have a YouTube channel? It's not like I'm branding it 24/7 by wearing all of my merch all the time.
I heard you were into that kink. Branding, you know, with the hot irons. Welcome, folks. Every video. It's gotta be. I mean, it wouldn't be authentic if it wasn't inappropriate.
Authentic Geeks by the Creek.
That needs to be a T-shirt for Geeks by the Creek right there. It wouldn't be authentic if it's not inappropriate. Yep, that's right. So today we are talking a little bit about, and this might turn into a two-parter, but because there's so much to unpack when talking about this, and honestly, even in the short time that, well, I wouldn't call it short time, because we've had some technical issues and scheduling issues and all kinds of things, life events, and we've been trying to do this for like over a week now, and well, I even ran out of Geeks by the Creek shirts because I was wearing one each time we'd set up to do it, and then I just would forget to take it off, so they're all in the laundry, but they exist. So cop that merch. Smash that subscribe button. Ring that notification bell. If you want to become part of the notification squad.
I don't have any of that kind of energy. For me, it's just buy a shirt or something.
I don't know what it is. If there's like some toxicity in my colon that's causing some sort of psychedelic drug kind of reaction that gives me this sort of energy at my age. Because really, honestly, I shouldn't be this fired up at my age and girth and health situation. I'm just saying. I got my dad bod and somebody else's in here, so it's crowded. But
your word choice never ceases to amaze.
Oh yeah, well, you know, I try to remain fluid and have much breadth to my vernacular.
Joke.
No, I went right past it because like already we were like really like heavy loading the front end of this with inappropriateness, so I kind of want to spread it out a little bit. Spread it out a little bit.
It's like peanut butter, you know? Spread it even.
Viscosity. I love that word. Viscous.
It's a fun word.
Viscous and moist are the two words I like using because both of them, for some reason, give people difficulties.
Viscous, I don't mind. Moist is it's just awkward at this point. Like, it doesn't even make me uncomfortable anymore. It's just like, oh, okay, well.
Well, it's because I'm moist all the time, and so I use it a lot. Not that little talcum can't. Little gold bond. Things you learn at my age.
What happened to spread it evenly? We were just talking about spread the inappropriate list evenly.
You know, we're gonna spread it evenly, but then you said the word "spread it evenly," and my mind just wobbles. Anyway.
Don't turn this around. Don't pin this on me, okay?
Oh man, so pinning you and spreading evenly just in the same like section of the conversation. You're just begging for me to be inappropriate. But anyway, don't beg. So yeah, I think the reason that I'm like so inappropriate, you can unplug all you want, man. It's still gonna be coming. It's still gonna be there. It's gonna be there when you get back. It's fine.
These are different headphones.
But I think the reason is because I try to keep 99% of the time. I try to keep most of everything else that I do super G, like G, or maybe G. Is there such a thing as G13? I don't know. That sounds more like a thong size, but But I really do try, and so when it comes to just hanging out with friends and talking, I don't like to have to censor myself as much, and I just
NC-17.
Yeah, exactly, and that's fun, and it's not, it's not. A lot of it is super it's like innuendo and double entendres and that sort of thing. So you have to get it, and if you don't, it'll just woo, it's gone right over your head. But anyway, so we're talking about digital versus physical. And I think you all know that I am a bit of a physical guy. Guy. There I go again. I don't know what's happening here. Christopher Walken adjacent. I mean, I don't try to do any impressions or anything, but, I mean, it just kind of happens. So, I just want to say,
I'm a physical guy.
Yeah, exactly. And guy. And so I just want to say... Let's get physical. I wanna get physical. Let's get into physical. Let me hear your gaming talk. Yeah, so that's enough for a strike right there, I think. But
I don't have.
Or a claim.
You didn't tell me to bring props.
No, you're not. I'm giving you props. You're awesome. I really enjoy your company. It's great talking to you. It's good to have you on a podcast. See, I give you props. You're good. You have all the props you need. But seriously though, what are you playing now? And is it and what is the mix? Is it digital versus physical? What do you got going on?
Well, I mean, I will admit, I've always been a physical guy. I've always liked having a physical medium. I still buy DVDs and CDs all the time. This is who I am. I actually just picked up CDs from a small artist that I love, Color Theory. I've always been a physical guy, but quarantine has put it like I don't want to say put the kibosh on that, but it really has, because having games on demand digitally has been really, really nice during quarantine. Lately, I've been playing Jedi Fallen Order for the first time, and I have that digitally, and I'm really, really enjoying, because I don't know when the game saves, so I just kind of let it play. Usually when I'm not playing it, it's still playing, because I don't know when the game saves. but no, I've been playing a lot more digital games than I ever have in the past, just because it's easy.
But how about now? Now that things are opening back up and people are getting a different perspective on life and opening the windows and talking to people, and that sort of thing, and the world is becoming, sunlight.
These are simply blackout curtains. They're just denim. That's all they are.
Yeah, I was about to say they look like those really thin leggings. That's basically what they look like. I mean, it looks like a very pale winter flesh pressing up against stretched leggings is what it looks like. But anyway. But so But I mean, right now, like in the last couple of weeks, what have you been playing? Has your outlook changed, and are you playing? Have you been cracking open your physical games? Have you been looking at maybe some that you wanted to pick up because reasons or nostalgia or?
When it comes to games, actually not really. I think I've just gotten so used to it though. Like I've been.
You mean digital?
Yeah.
Okay.
I brought this up on the last episode, how my world has kind of been taken over by multiplayer games, so that way I can still be connected to my friends without being with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of those games for me are digital. We have like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Call of Duty Warzone, Minecraft, Rocket League, Golf with Friends, Pothion's Arena, Phasmophobia.
How are you at Call of Duty?
Depends which Call of Duty.
Oh. Because I was going to say we should do that sometime.
Yeah, it'd be dumb.
Because I've been playing multiplayer too, but it's been different. My friends have been it's been different. A lot more like Jackbox kind of thing. Because it's been a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life. Some who are not tech savvy or game players and that sort of thing, but they enjoy a good multiplayer game that's more like a tabletop kind of environment, which is Jackbox in a nutshell. It's like tabletop evolved, basically.
Played a lot of Quiplash.
Yeah, see that sort of thing. Yeah. And also there's a really good online version of Codenames as well. So that's been it's actually it looks a lot like it. I can give you the link.
Please do. I love Codenames.
We should do that. We should host like a Codenames. We should like do a Codename stream or something. That would be fun.
That would be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. I'd have to figure out how to stream, but that would be fun. But no, there is another thing that, again, digital has really been helping, the whole quarantine thing, which is Steam's new feature of remote play together. I don't know if you've heard about this.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Me and my friends, and it's probably the most unlikely game to be using remote play together for, but me and my friends have been playing American Trucking Simulator together.
Oh, you told me about it. Now, I didn't know you were playing with friends, but you told me about this. We were talking the other day when we were going through the testing the tech and working out the kinks. Yeah.
No, I don't know what it is about that game, but it is just so relaxing to just sit down. I've been listening to like indie folk music while I've been driving.
So you're going for the full-on immersion? Do you have like the like the plastic water bottle that you pee into because you just can't stop because you're on the clock and they got you tracking you on the GPS?
I mean, I have my bed right behind me, just like other truck drivers.
Nice.
My phone just went off.
It just went off on you? What'd you do to piss it off?
What? Oh. Hold on. I wouldn't interrupt, but this is actually important. I have to respond to this.
Okay.
It's my mother's trying to figure out if my brother got a ride home from work today. Except she texted me if I had a ride home from work today.
Oops.
So,
oops.
I just messaged her. I'm like, Mom, this is Sean.
So while we're doing that, Geeks by the Creek, like and subscribe, and also cop that merch. The merch store is up. I have been tweaking it to put some things on there that I know people will like versus what I would like, and also things that I felt will stand the test of time versus some of the clothing, which I just want to make sure that when you have a product and you wear it and you're supporting the channel, that 3 washes later, you can't recognize what's on there, I want it to be something that endures. By all means, please do follow the laundering instructions, because I tested both with and without, because I know most people just like throw all their laundry together or whatever, and they don't really read the labels. So I will say with this product, please read the labels. And I apologize for the inconvenience. I am going to be sourcing shirts from a local vendor. I talked about this in another was it your podcast? I think it was your podcast where I mentioned that there's a local vendor who does screen printing that has given me an amazing price, and I want to support local. So they'll be going there, and they'll be actual screen printed instead of digital print, and those will be available probably by the middle of next month. And I will be handling all the shipping and marketing and photography, product photography, all that kind of stuff when I put it up on my Facebook store, which is going to be launching as kind of a companion shop for merch with the Spreadshirt shop. honestly, just so that I could support local and give you a product that's going to stand up. And screen printing is always a better option when you can get it.
I will say that mug looks really fresh.
Thank you very much. I mean, I got a variety, and honestly, my favorite, I've used it for storing all kinds of crap. Well, my favorite has to be the panoramic mug with Pew Pew, and if you can see, it tells a little story of Pew Pew and his arch nemesis, the little pixel flies. But yeah, so I got a bunch of stuff like that, you know, and whoa! I got murky for a second, I tell you. You know, honestly, Logitech, I gotta tell you something. This is supposed to be the Cadillac, I can't even say Cadillac, the Tesla. I will say that, but that sounds better. The Tesla of freaking webcams, and it's really been kind of disappointing. The way that it handles the aperture and the color, but more importantly, the autofocus is just wacky as hell. And the first episode of this, I was going, it's like a heartbeat, and I was like phasing in and out of our reality, and it was so weird. Anyway, so a whole lot of digression here, but
yes,
you're a trucker. You're a mother trucker.
Well, no, my mother texted, but I am a trucker.
Yes.
No. No, that's
so that's what you've been doing.
Yeah. We've been doing a lot of digital games because it's easier to connect with digital games. It's easier to just go from one to the other.
Now, do you? So do you not play any physical games whatsoever anymore, or do you not purchase any physical games whatsoever, or do you not have any plans? I mean, other than like in the future, we're planning on doing a little thrifting.
Yes,
but we'll talk about this some other day. But
yeah, I do still play my physical games. I play them a lot. I on my desk at all times, I have my Xbox 360 controller and my PlayStation 4 controller. And my PlayStation 4, I still play a lot of my physical games. The one I have in right now, I think, is Need for Speed Heat. I was playing Uncharted 2 the other day, which is a physical game.
Okay.
I do still play them. It's just digital games and their convenience.
Yeah, it's the convenience. So... yeah. All right, so I have a confession to make, and that is most recently. So I had been playing my physical games a lot during the quarantine, and I was getting the releases. Something happened when we started having difficulties with all of the different shipping methods, having a hard time meeting dates. Like even like 2 day from Amazon or whatever, not really doing great during the quarantine. I started to notice that when I get new releases, they're up to a week late. And I wanted to play the damn game. Now that might sound a bit entitled and first world problems and all that kind of stuff, but they have, you know, $60+ on my money, and it's quarantine, and there's not a whole heck of a lot else going on. And I kind of really wanted to play my game. So I started, there was a couple that I double dipped on because I really didn't want to lose the physical copy that I already had on order. I kind of still wanted to have physical, and we'll touch on why later. But I double dipped on a couple out of sheer impatience. And I was kind of glad that I did because I enjoyed it. And when you're talking, and now this is mostly Switch games too. So you're talking about being able to just take that into the backyard or with you and stuff like that. Now, it didn't do a lot of traveling, but, you know, it's still convenient. And once again, is exactly what you're talking about. It was the convenience. But, like, recently I'm playing the Bug Catcher, which is a delightful... Now, have you ever heard of Pang or Buster Brothers?
No.
So it was an old school game by Mitchell Corp. Hey! By Mitchell Corp, which really not a well-known company and has a very interesting and troubled history. But they were the ones that actually created the game that eventually became Zuma. Remember I once talked to you about some games that I felt were kind of like stolen? Well, PopCap like literally stole this game from Mitchell Corp. I forget what the name of their game was, but it was basically Puznik, I think it is, or something like that. Anyway, but so those are the same people, and it's this game where you run around the bottom of the screen. You can only shoot up, and you have this like little safari dude with a grappling hook, and there are these balls or bubbles or whatever bouncing around everywhere, and you shoot them, and when you shoot them they become smaller bubbles, and then you have to shoot those, and they're bouncing everywhere, and it's a really addictive and fun game. And Bugcatcher, the Bugcatcher takes that gameplay mechanism, turns it into like a little sci-fi thing where you're this little like dude running around shooting all these different aliens, and then it like adds like this, I'm gonna say Defender kind of vibe, because the aliens pick up the scientists and start to carry them along in like a snot tether kind of thing, snot bungee, just like, and you have to stop them, and then the dude drops down and runs back to his little science station. So, and the levels progress, and it's a really kind of hard game, but it's addicting. And then I play Mystopia, which is a fun. What's that?
I just want to say, if I had $1 for every time I'd heard the word snot bungee, I'd have $1.
You're welcome.
That's more than I would want.
You're welcome. And like they're free to use that in their description of their game if they want, because it's accurate. So Mystopia, which is kind of a little like side-scrolling kind of adventure hack and slash game, using cute little mice. Also played the Metopia demo. Are you familiar with Metopia? It was originally a 3DS game. It utilizes it utilizes the Mii's. And like the villains steals your friends' Mii's faces, and but anyway, so I started messing around with that, and I mainly just spent most of my time with the Mii editor, because it's so much more in depth than a Mii editor has ever been. You can make all the things. It's amazing. But I don't know if I still want to pay that premium, like AAA title price tag for what was a 3DS game. So we'll see where that goes. And Coffee Talk. Now, I don't know if you are familiar with Coffee Talk. It's an indie game, and it is, you are the proprietor and barista of a coffee shop. But you're in a world where there were werewolves and fairies and vampires and even some other creatures and aliens and that sort of thing are your customers, and they exist along with humans, and it's done in a way that is very it's like it okay, so this exists, it's not it's very grounded in a very gritty, almost film noir kind of world, like the transitions remind me of that, and the coffee shop is only open at night. So, and then you just talk to your customers, and you listen to their problems, you listen to the conversations, their narratives and stories unfold, there's drama, but you have to learn to make their favorite drinks, and you have to remember their favorite beverages. And the werewolf has a specific one that helps him, when the moon is full, to not change, or not, at least if he changes, not lose his shit completely. So it's an interesting game. And it's a very chill game. The only physical game that I've been playing, that I got, and I just got a whole bunch too, is Pokemon Snap. Whoa, I'm bald. I flipped my lid, literally. That's the big reveal. But
whoa, I'm bald. All right.
Yeah. There's a little bit of glare there. Avert your eyes. But, so, wow. So, Pokemon Snap. Jeez, I just looked up at that. That's like me removing my shirt, so I guess it's that glare, that pale glare.
Well, guys, thank you for watching the video. This video is done before Dale could take off his shirt. If you like, I just dropped my phone on my foot.
You deserve that. So Pokemon Snap, of course, is the update to, or not even the update, it's the sequel to the original.
I'm sorry, Pokemon
Snap.
You said snack.
Well, even if I said snack, even if I said snack, it's accurate, because you feed Pokemon snacks in order to get them to react and pose for the camera and that sort of thing. So there. There.
I've seen the College Humor video, and it.
Yeah. So.
No, I
thought for a second you said I was a bit of a snack. I was like, whoa.
Whoa. After we're done filming, gee.
So so my big confession is that on my Switch, I have an obscene. We're just gonna do this. Oh, mother pus bucket. Let me get out of that. I have an obscene. We're just gonna scroll down. See all that?
Mm-hmm.
That's all digital games. I have a digital stack of shame that is as bad, if not worse, than my physical snack. Look, you got me saying it now. That's your fault. Stack of shame. And the reason for this is like 90% of these, or better, probably more, like 95% at least. Oh God, let's make it 98. It's 98% of. Look at this. It just keeps going. It's just ridiculous. I probably have like 80 games or more. And there's some that I had to delete because I filled up a 512 gigabyte SD card. Indie games. The vast majority of them are indie games because most indie games don't get physical releases. And that's another way that that's another benefit of digital. It allows smaller developers and indie developers a method of distribution that doesn't break the bank. And then, of course, you have limited run games and super rare and, all those wonderful companies that do occasionally release limited numbers of physical editions. And I have picked up a few of the physical editions too, because I kind of want to support, it's supporting indie developers. I'm an indie gamer. I support me. But anyway, so the only problem is, and I'm going to include some footage of this, but so my attitudes and my views of physical versus digital, it's very complicated and it keeps going back and forth. It's evolved to the point where I really can't definitively say one is better than the other. I'm running into a problem right now where I need to. I got some shelving and it's just going to be inadequate, and I need more shelving if I want to have my collection of physical games out. And I've gotten to the point where I never thought I'd say this, but I might even sell some. And I don't want to, but I have to be realistic about this, and I'm running out of space. So that is the major downside for physical. Convenience is, and you can't get most indie games on physical. So those are some dings on physical. But I think the part two, we'll touch on more about the games we're playing and some of these things like this, and then the part two we'll go on a deep dive into game preservation and the real huge downfalls of digital.
Well, I will say this while I'm thinking about it, because I just brought it up. One of the downfalls of digital that just came to mind really quickly is the fact that on my PlayStation here, and I can't turn the camera to show.
That's fine.
But if we were to go through and count how many of these games I've purchased and never played, there's just in this one folder alone, we have 1, 2, 3. Go to the next one. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11. Like, it just, all of these games that I've purchased and never played. 12, 13, 14.
I am facing the same dilemma.
15. Where's 16, 17, 18, 19. And then there's so many more that I don't even have installed. If we go to...
Mm-hmm.
If we go to this. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Like, right there. Like, we just...
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that is one of the things I don't like about digital is I will purchase games and forget.
Well,
because I don't have the cases.
Well, that not only that, but I feel like so a lot of these digital games are also incredibly cheap, especially the indie games are incredibly affordable. So when I get a 60 or, I pay $60 to $70 for a AAA game, or even 50 or whatever, and I have the physical box staring me in the face, guilting me, I'm more likely to turn to that than this, so it's like a lobster tail, sitting in front of you, covered in butter, steaming, and if you don't eat that shit, you can't microwave it. And that's a lot of money right there. And then
versus
you have all these
picture on the menu.
Yeah, exactly. Or even more than that, these little snacks that that if they went bad, well, it cost you a couple of bucks. I will tell you, so many of these games on the eShop. There was a while there where indie game developers were gaming the ranking system on the eShop on the Switch by drastically slashing the price of their games. Some of them to the point where they were a penny. Some of them to the point where if you bought like 2 of their other games for like 99 cents or $2 a piece or something like that, which was already like 95% off, they would throw in a free game. I mean, it was insane. So Nintendo has actually put a stop to that practice. And there are a few companies that got wind that they were going to gate that. And so they still have games on there for like 49 cents or whatever. And the sale lasts for another like 1,400 days because they set their sale to go past Nintendo's cutoff point. But yeah, and so even though the value proposition is such that you're getting these wonderful games for cheap, on the other hand, the perception is I got a candy dish here full of little snacks versus these giant investments that are sitting in front of me, with the drum beat going, oh, play me.
I think even that, most of those games that I was just talking about were AAA titles. And that's like the even crazier part to me is like so many of these.
So was that like, were those like PSN downloads or were they like heavily on sale? Okay.
Some of them are PSN, most of them were heavily on sale. I got Jedi Fallen Order Deluxe Edition for like $15.
So.
And I was really, really happy about it. But then I went 2 months without playing.
Mm-hmm.
And I only just started playing it like Tuesday.
That's another huge mitigating factor in my stacks of shame, both digital and physical. Game Pass. Yes. Holy crap! Jedi Fallen Order is on Game Pass right now.
Yeah.
Faux freezies. Faux cheesies.
Get it? It is so good, and I hate it.
But see what you just said. Listen to what you just said. I am sitting here. I'm looking at a wall that right now, bare minimum, has like, a couple hundred games on it. My Switch collection is overflowing. I already have filled up the internal hard drive of my Xbox One S, and I have an external drive that admittedly is only like 25% full. But is that really my goal, to fill that up too? So
I get exactly how you feel.
Yeah, and I do it. I do it because of, okay, I'm paying for the service, so I better take a look at what's there, and then I download games. And the other part of the reason I download games is if they leave Game Pass, at least I'll still be able to, even if I delete them right after I download them, I have now put a pin in it. I have now put a bookmark in there, and I can go back and download these games again because I've already downloaded it once, because they are archived.
Yeah.
So I find myself doing that too, and that's another reason why I have a crazy stack of digital stuff, is that like even with the sales, like when I see something on sale for $2, I may know damn well I don't have time to play it, but I'm not, as opposed to having to spend gas to go to a store and spend time and go through and try to hunt for bargains and this and that and the other thing. It's right there in front of me. Digital's right there in front of me, tempting me, taunting me, and saying, okay, this is $2, man, but it's only $2 for another 2 days. And if you miss it, you miss it. But if you download it now and you want to make space, you can always go back and get it. Don't worry about it. Just come on and get it now. So, I mean, this is why I say it's such a very difficult and complex and nuanced subject, digital versus physical. Because there are upsides and downsides, and many of the upsides are also downsides at the same time. Being able to get instant gratification and download a game for $2 is fantastic until it isn't. Until it becomes a problem. Until I'm digitally hoarding. And that's really, to be honest, that's really what it is. It's like I'm a hunter and gatherer, and I'm storing up all my nuts for the winter. You know, I'm for when there's a drought in gaming, or for when for some reason, like for instance the Wii eShop, the eShop is gone. Oh my gosh, I can't get those games anymore, and that is a genuine concern with digital. You know, but that also creates this compulsion, and it's really. I'm wondering if at some point in time going forward, what is it called? I forgot what the Bible for mental health is called. It's like MSW or something. I forget. No, it's DSM. Not that. What is it called? I should look it up before I go out.
DSM.
DSM. That's what it is. That's right. So I wonder if at some point in time, because there's already a gaming addiction, a gaming disorder.
About the video game addiction disorder, because like so many gamers were like freaking out about it and everything else. But...
Right, and I think I'm wondering if they aren't going to eventually add game hoarding as a specific kind of hoarding, or especially like even digital, because that is a very peculiar thing, because it doesn't create clutter. Per se, it doesn't take up any physical space, but you are also using up resources. You're using up, using your money, your finances. You know, and it is a compulsion. And when does it cross over from just that dude, he's so into gaming, to that dude almost didn't make rent? You know, that sort of thing. So,
well, like I have found like so many deals on the PlayStation Network that in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is a really good deal. You can't pass this up, because I bought the HD retexture copy of Hitman Blood Money and Absolution, which was like brand new right when that double pack came out. It was like $60, $60-$70. I got it for like $12 because it was on sale. Jedi Fallen Order was like $45. I got it for like $15 because it was on sale.
And how do you walk away from that as a gamer, especially a gamer with limited funds? You know, it's hard in the moment. I mean, if you go into things mentally prepared, you know, like if you go into those situations going, okay, no, just know I have. I mean, honestly, if I'm being completely honest here, and I like to be. When you add in the mini systems, you know, like the Sega Genesis Classic Mini, whatever you want to call it, SNES Mini, NES Mini, the TurboGrafx Mini, all of those, each one of those represents a stack of games. You know, like 40 games each or something, or between 20 and 40, something that around that. And then on top of that, there are the collections of classic games, like the Konami collections, you know, the Castlevania collection, all those. Those represent, it's not just one. It's not just one game. It's a collection of games. The Capcom Arcade, which my dumbass picked up. I don't know why I did that to myself, but I was having so much fun playing classic games. And that's the hook. The Sega Genesis collection on physical media. That's available for a variety of systems, including the Switch. Oh my damn, that's like 50 games right there.
Yeah, I have it for the PlayStation 4.
So yeah, so if you take all of those collections and stuff like that, you're already into the honestly into the hundreds of games, just with collections of classic games. It's not touching any of the current, last, or previous gen before that games. It's not taking into account DS and 3DS games. This is just a few collections of games, and suddenly you're well over 100. And even if let's say it's all classic games, so you'll just relegate an hour to each. That's still hundreds of hours of gameplay, on top of games that each individually have anywhere between like 5 to 100 hours of gameplay, depending on what you're doing. It's insane. And then there's the multiplayer games, which, like you alluded to, you play a lot of during the pandemic, and they're a lot of fun. And there are a lot of people that almost play them exclusively, with a few exceptions. And those games, that's like nearly unlimited hours of gameplay. It is all up to you how much time you want to put into it. And if you're striving, like people who strive for near professional levels of gameplay, even if they don't play competitively, but they want to get that edge, they want to be, they want that swag.
Yeah.
Or that gamer cred.
That is our producer Carson with Rocket League.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what happened. It was like one day we were all on like the same level in that game, and then like 2 days went by where we didn't play it, and then suddenly, like he was like ranked gold tier, and we were just sitting there with like the starter card going, "What happened? What the hell happened?"
Yeah, and honestly, I got to be honest with you. That was some of my friends with Animal Crossing. I am, I'm over here and I'm like dropping my shit left and right to make room, and my items my island's just full of clutter, and I haven't done all of the things, and my village isn't particularly organized. I haven't paved any roads or done any custom patterns. I just enjoy the game and I enjoy chilling with it. I enjoy occasionally visiting friends, but some of my friends have entire freaking metropolises. They've got they've recreated other games within Animal Crossing, and I'm sitting here just breaking tools left and right and going, I'm done. So I mean,
you see, like I am both ways with Minecraft. Some worlds I am just chilling, just having a good time, not looking for anything crazy. And then I also have the creative world where I'm literally building a 1-to-1 scale enterprise.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know that
Not
I can.
1-to-1, maybe like 1-to-100, but
So I don't know that I can ever do that. That doesn't mean that I don't think it's incredibly cool, and it would be awesome. I think it would be awesome if I could like focus my attention long enough to do that, but I think I'm a little too. Oh, Edgerton's calling me. Hello? It is. We're live right now on a podcast. Hey! Well, that's... Anyway, I might edit that out. We'll see what happens. Hey! I totally derailed myself now. We had such a good thing going. Yeah, you remember that one time where we had momentum? That was good times.
Oh, man, I missed that.
So,
that was fun.
So basically, I mean, and this has kind of shifted the conversation into, different sort of, I don't know how to put it, different behaviors with gamers and how it relates to consumption of digital and physical media and what it means. Mm-hmm. Now, I see, so a thing that has come up with a lot of other YouTubers, I've actually, over the last several days, I've actually watched some YouTubers made videos saying they're done with retro game collecting. They're done, and one of them has actually completely changed the focus of his channel because of it to his music. But there are others that are saying, and then there are a few that are questioning whether or not to continue, and a lot of it has to do with this ridiculous retro game bubble. I mean, it's absurd. Let's call it like it is. People want to defend capitalism and greed, for lack of a better word, is good. No, it's not. It really isn't. Especially when you're talking about a hobby. And no, so this hobby is near and dear to me. This is, I was a retro gamer before I was a retro gamer. I mean, I grew up. Not grow up, but I lived through pretty much every facet, every single generation of systems, and so gaming has kind of been woven into the fabric of my recreational life. And so when I say I'm a retro gamer, what I really should say is that just plainly, I'm a gamer who has lived through retro, and I've just transitioned through it. But that didn't mean that I left. I didn't want to leave those other gaming experiences behind. In some ways, some of those gaming experiences are superior to some of the gaming experiences today. And we could debate that another time. But so retro gaming has turned into a commodity versus a hobby. And that in itself is affecting how people view digital versus physical. And something that I once was against, and that was probably more because of piracy relative to games that were actually out at the time and actually taking money from developers. But now that most of these games are in the past, and for some reason developers are just sitting on IPs and doing nothing with them, and have lost code for games and aren't, like the source code, and that sort of thing, and with companies going out of business and consolidating and mergers and all that kind of stuff, I am totally cool with emulation. But that's a whole other face of digital, because that is not, emulation is not something that is subject to the whims of corporations any longer. This is not where they can pull. I mean, they can shut down emulation sites, but what they can't do is, for instance, if there's, you have a drive full of games or whatever, chances are they're not going to touch you. You know what I mean? And it's important. You're basically a remote archive for these games, and this hive mind of the internet that has all these games. Thank goodness that it's scattered far and wide, because there's no one way that they could get wiped out. Instead of just being exclusively in the hands of these developers who have proven that they don't give a rat's ass. Honestly, a lot of them, when they're done with the mentality was, when you're done with the game, who cares what happens to the source code? We'll archive it somewhere, and if it's there, it's there, but whatever. And to be fair, I guess that's because there was no such thing as the retro gaming market. No one even had that thought in their head that 20 years in the future that anyone would still want to play those games. I think there was a completely different view of gaming as a whole. Not that it was a fad or anything, but that as it evolved, other forms were going to die out, much like biological evolution, that there would be this competition and that the modern technology would win out and the rest would stay in the past as a happy memory. So I get why they didn't throw a lot of resources into perfectly archiving and preserving source code and that sort of thing, but it still doesn't change the fact that we face a crisis where games can possibly be completely lost. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, and this reminds me of a debate I was actually having with another friend of mine this morning. And this is a bit of a tangent, but it's almost a very identical, very similar debate, which is he freaked out because Aston Martin said they're no longer making manual transmission cars.
And I've noticed that trend. Not to go off on too much of a tangent, but I've noticed that trend, and even my wife has, because she wanted to get a manual transmission car, and finding the model of car she wanted with manual transmission was, they were gonna have to special order. No one has it. No one
exactly.
At no dealership has them.
But the automatic versus manual transmission cars is a very, very similar debate. Like, as we've been sitting here talking, it's been like going through my head. I'm sitting here, I feel like I've made all of these points this morning over Snapchat with my friend. Like, because, it's just like the convenience of an automatic transmission, not having to learn an entirely secondary skill set.
Versus the hands-on nature of and that connection with the road and everything with a manual transition or with physical media.
Exactly. It's a very, very similar debate.
It kind of is. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, but it is. It honestly is.
It is. Yeah, no, and honestly, to finish off that tangent, though, Aston Martin can do no wrong in my eyes. I love you. Give me one. Is for me. Anyway.
Okay. Alrighty. So he's flirting with a car manufacturer. It's good. It's fine. Hey. It's normal. It's healthy.
Don't find the shrine in the closet. It's fine.
I don't even want to see the snaps that you sent to Aston Martin. But anyway,
hey man,
showing them your stick shift. Anyway, so
not anymore. Not anymore. They don't do that anymore. They're not into that. So.
No, I said you showed them your stick shift, and then you said not anymore, and I was concerned for a second. Unless it was intentional, in which case, congratulations.
Daughter?
I don't know. I don't know anymore. So,
but my point is, though, it's a very similar, weirdly similar debate between digital and physical, automatic versus manual.
Right.
And it's just funny because, like I said,
versus new.
Precisely. Precisely. It is, for all intents and purposes, just about like the same questions, the same debate, because it comes down to convenience versus tradition.
Honestly, and the same can be said for the old Apple computers versus the new Apple computers. It's the same thing. And car manufacturers and video game companies and Apple Computer have all approached this from the same thing, where they're saying, okay, it's great. At one time, we let you work on this stuff. We let you be more hands-on. Like I remember with my Commodore 64, I'd get a game, and then I was actually able to go in and mess with the code and see what it would do to the game. And that's how I learned about programming games, you know. But same thing with working on cars. Now you need a computer science degree, and in some cases, because of the software and everything, if you alter anything and like that, they could take you to court.
Yeah,
they could take you to court for doing it. And the same thing with Apple, you know, going from being able to. So, that's honestly archiving, whether it's archiving cars, archiving, keeping up cars, hoarding parts to make sure that you can replace parts. Same thing with Apple computers, or with video games, where you are collecting all of these old games and systems and parts for the systems and that sort of thing. So you can keep this going. So you have a historic representation of an era of gaming that is gone. It's not coming back. I mean, you could say to a certain extent, indie games with their pixel art and some of their kind of reviving old school gameplay and that sort of thing. It's cool. It's like evolved. It's retro evolved. But it's never going to be quite the same, and you won't have that smell of ozone and heated up dust, caked on dust that you get when you fire up an old system. There's something very visceral about just turning the system on, and then it's just everything, even the plastic and everything has a smell and a texture and a touch and a weight, and there's this muscle memory and very visceral memories of playing these games. Emulation loses that to a certain extent, which is why I appreciate companies like 8-Bit do, making retro controllers that very much feel like the old one. Like I got Saturn controllers from somebody too. I can't remember who it might have been 8-Bit do, but I'll have to look those up. But I got these Saturn controllers and these Sega Genesis controller 6 buttons. They feel so much like the old school that I could hardly tell the difference, and it brought back such wonderful memories immediately. But
it's the difference between taking it back to the car analogy again. It's the difference between getting in a Tesla versus getting in a '98 Miata.
Right.
There's the one that is always on, the car is running, the air conditioner's been on all night because it's been charging.
Or a Geostorm convertible.
Oh god.
I actually wanted one of those. Anyway, sorry.
Or the one that may or may not start at all.
Right. Right. But the smell of oil and instead of the smell of circuitry, So I just want
to... My car wouldn't start, so I popped the hood and blew in the cartridge.
Yeah. So I just want to quickly circle back to digital versus physical, because I think I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. And there'll be a part 2, and there are going to be discussions about the whole Sony CMOS battery situation, and what a debacle that was. Sony's reversal of their stance on keeping their shops open. There's so much more to talk about, and honestly, that's going to take up another hour or so.
Definitely.
But it's all kind of fueled by the very in-your-face fact that has been demonstrated repeatedly, that there has been a paradigm shift in how people view ownership, and it's slow. We've been kind of groomed into this new thought process, and I feel like a lot of newer gamers grew up so much in it and surrounded by it, and kind of moved into that mode that outside of it being a commodity, physical games and retro games don't hold the same kind of, and I'm not just talking nostalgia here, they don't hold the same kind of value. they actually can see downloading a $60 game as having equal weight and value as having a $60 game in your hand. That is where the argument becomes problematic for me, because that's how they're kind of moving us all into this all digital situation, where we have to be perfectly honest with ourselves. When we sign away, when we click boxes without reading anything, terms of use and all that kind of stuff, basically we don't own anything anymore when we're doing the digital downloads. I think maybe the indie games, the indie developers are better about that sort of thing, but the bigger companies, we don't own anything. And then when you add to the fact that we are now, for all intents and purposes, we are now all beta testers. I can't remember the last game that I downloaded that hasn't at some point in time required a patch. So that's I want to go in more depth about that in the future, but these are just some of the things that have kind of evolved my view, and that's why I go back and forth. I love the convenience. I have so many digital games on my system, on my Switch alone, and I also have Game Pass. You know, and like I said, I'm filling up hard drives. You know, but what's going to happen next? Am I going to have a stack of hard drives, like a hard drive archive, that I'm just going to have to label with all the games so I can plug them in like I used to do with like floppy disks?
Kind of like one of those old like leather-bound CD cases.
Yeah.
Where you got rid of all your CD cases and then you just put the CDs in the sleeves.
Yep. And honestly, So there's another discussion right there, because that's something I'm struggling with right now, and that's another both upside and downside of physical. I love having the cases. I love having the instruction books. But when I became a blended family, when I married my wife and adopted my daughters and everything, space became at a premium. I was no longer a bachelor, so I took, as one of the ways of making this happen, I took hundreds of my games and put them into. I'll even show you here. I have. Oh! I almost unplugged myself, and not in the cool way. So this is one that's kind of seen better days. This one doesn't have anything in it anymore. We had some flooding. The games, fortunately, were fine because they were protected. But I put everything in these, and they had labels on them, and so I had a bookcase full of these instead of not full. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. I reduced the space so much that there's maybe 2 shelves full like this. But now I stored the cases and the manual separately, and now I'm going back to them, and they're damaged, mildewed. Like I'm going to be able to salvage some of it, but so there again, this is another situation where physical, I love it, but it's also difficult, and everybody has different space concerns and family situations, that sort of thing. So yeah. So here we are at the end of this, the second episode of What Are You Playing Now? And I think
we've talked more about transmissions in cars than what we're playing.
No, well, I mean, and so it's not just what we're playing, but how we're playing.
Yeah.
And the important thing to note is that we've been able to talk about this for almost exactly an hour right now. We're at 59 minutes and 41 seconds.
You give 20 seconds to finish what you're saying.
If I had
you could do it.
If I had $1 for everybody, every time I heard you have 20 seconds to finish. But anyway.
The outro without me. Good luck.
No, but seriously though, what we've discovered after, get your head back, put your cans back on. So what we kind of discovered is after an hour of talking about this, and yeah, we did digress a little bit, but most of the things were either analogous to what we were talking about or related offshoots of the subject at hand.
Or what me flirting with Aston Martin.
This is true, but that was a very short amount of time.
Or you flirting in general. So
that's what I do. I have a flirtatious. I mean, I ooze sexuality. We can all see it. Look at.
All right, these are going back off.
In fact, I think I just ooze now. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, definitely go.
Moist, viscous. Anyway, see this? I brought this all full circle from the beginning you got to do that. You got to bring it all back together, bring it back around. But in all seriousness, what we've learned in this last hour is that this particular topic is so complicated, so nuanced, and very personal. And not only does it mean different things to different people, but it also affects people's lives and how they go about entertaining themselves and enjoying time with friends. I mean, it affects if you are a gamer, it affects so many different aspects of your lives, your finances, the space in your house. If you have a huge collection and know where to put it, could very well affect your family relations. You know, so this is why this is going to go into a part 2. And it's not just because we're up against a hard stop or because we've had to delay things. You know, it's because this is genuinely a very deep conversation. And I think it's one that needs to be had in not only with gamers, but with developers and with hardware manufacturers, because Sony and Microsoft have two very different approaches to this, and Nintendo is of course off on itself, you know, playing in its own little sandbox, you know,
playing with sticks and rocks in the backyard.
Yeah, exactly.
As Sony and Microsoft have drinks on the back porch.
And honestly, being more creative than either of the other two. Oh, with them sticks and rocks, what? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but Nintendo makes good games with them. That's a new saying.
That's fair enough.
But
and I will say this too. It's also kind of fascinating because, like, talking about games, digital or physical, but like this is starting to become such a facet of our lives that we could talk about, like DVDs, CDs, like I was saying, like digital versus physical is a huge topic. It's endemic
of the evolution of technology in general across a variety of different industries and media. And it affects every part of our lives, not just gaming, but, you know, like you were talking about, cars and computers and how humans interact with them and how we utilize them and what they mean to us. And even more bizarrely, this, honestly, it really breaks my brain to think of this paradigm shift in how we view ownership. Where we have gone from knowing that we own something, having something in our hand and calling it our own, having property and rights to that property and rights to resell that property, to signing away all those rights for the convenience of not taking up space in a instant gratification and ease of use and storage and access. We basically have signed away any kind of permanent rights to ownership. And when did that happen? And you know, how did that happen? And how have we convinced ourselves that's okay? So that's some things we can talk about next time. We are up against a hard stop, and it has been just a little over an hour, which is kind of that's kind of the sweet spot where I wanted this to be. So anyway, I wanted to say it's been great having Sean of the Major Losars on again. Always a pleasure, and we will pick this up next time with some of the other conversations we were talking about. And if you wanted to just give a little shout out, I know you have some fun stuff coming up for summer.
Yep.
For your merch store.
We have a new summer design. I don't even think we've brought it up on our channel yet, but we have a new summer design coming out
pew, 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 pew!
right around the end of the month.
Yay!
Link down below.
Debut.
I literally it's. I'm not going to show you the design, but it's on that. Oh, you saw a little sneak peek of it, but anyway, we have that coming. We have a couple summer videos that we're looking forward to. Plus, I'm kicking around this idea of like a random game show that I want to do over Discord with some friends and just pull them in at random. So
cool.
We'll see how that goes. We'll see if that happens. And thank you guys so much. Links in the description below for the merch store and for our channel.
Been texted for biking trip yet? Okay. So I just want to say also. We're gonna try to. I'm gonna air this, and then there's gonna be a part 2 to this. And the part 2, hoping to get done next week. May not be able to. Sean's gonna be traveling for his channel, and also then he's going to be getting his second Pfizer. I myself am already fully vaxxed. I'm Funky Cold Moderna, and I feel like it's kind of funny because I feel like people talking about Janssen and Pfizer and Moderna, and then there's some pills coming up and some other things happening, and I feel like we're like. different houses in Game of Thrones or something, like the House of Pfizer and the House of Moderna. But
I can just hear
rival
Dumbledore
houses.
saying,
I could just hear Dumbledore saying, 1,000 points to Moderna.
Oh, you're going Hogwarts. I went darker.
"Yeah, I'm a Potter."
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I am too.
Another digital game I've been playing, Lego Harry Potter years 1 through 8.
Oh yeah. I actually picked that up digitally and physically. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and next time we can talk about pickups and that sort of thing too, because I have a lot that I haven't played yet, of course.
Same.
But anyway, so as always, it's great to have you all with us. Thank you for watching and sticking through the end if you made it to this part of the show. And it's been great having Sean and talking about this. We will have a part 2 coming up, but until then, as always, thank you for joining us on the journey. Remember to like and subscribe, and peace, love, and Nintendo. We out. Boop. Oh God, I broke it.
It's an Xbox controller, but it's close enough.
I broke it. Oh, there it goes.
Hey.
Oh, look, it's food.